pretty exciting.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your background in travel because I know you're in a C-suite position with cruise planners, and you've been with cruise planners for a long time. You started it, but
Yeah,
I wanted to
I
talk
was
about
one of the founders. Yeah.
yeah. I want to talk about your background just because I know you have an experience that so many advisors can share as coming into the industry. And I know one of your first positions in travel was an agency owner. Is that correct?
That's correct. I started as a travel advisor. So I think that is what makes me a little unique in the position that I'm in, is that I don't have a finance background like most CEOs do. I literally came from the school of hard knocks. I did exactly what the agency community is doing. And so I know how to build a business from scratch, deal directly with customers, what you need to do to make sure that your business is a success. And so I think that's given me a leg up as far as working with independent contractors and franchisees.
So what was it like? Do you remember your decision to start an agency? Do you remember your thinking behind getting into travel in the first place? Was it your love of travel or your love of cruises, or was it something else?
It's really funny because as a small child, my parents, they just weren't travelers. I think we went to New York to visit family or Disney World, which is a 3-hour drive from us. So my love of travel really didn't happen until I was in travel. And I was lucky enough that my father knew someone and said he thought this would be a great business for his daughter to be in. And I thank him profusely today for doing that, because I couldn't imagine doing anything else. But let me tell you a funny story, because it's really ironic that I'm in the cruise industry, because my first cruise, and you will not remember this, because I am totally dating myself, was on a cruise line called Paquet, and it was on the SS Dolphin. I think the ship was 12,000 tons. And, everyone listening in could probably think like, wow, I think that's the size of a tender on a big ship. And it probably is. But my husband and I decided to take this cruise. And we walked into our cabin. The ship was so old that the beds were on opposite sides of the cabin and they were bolted down. So I was like, okay, this is going to be a fun cruise. And our first night, the seas were so high and they definitely didn't have stabilizers. And so unfortunately, I spent the evening with the porcelain goddess. And my husband got to go have dinner. But I was just so sick all night that I begged my husband on that first port, get me off. I want to go home. I am never stepping on a ship again. And so I have to give my husband credit. He talked me into staying one more night. And he said, if it still happens, I promise you we'll fly home from the next port. And we had the best time from that point on. So I credit my husband for all of this success. He loves it, by the way. Had he not talked me into staying on that ship, I would have never stepped foot on one again. And here I am.